Hi, I'm Radhika Dutt, and in this video, I want to introduce a powerful new way of thinking about your product. Your product is your mechanism to create the change you want to see in the world. When you adopt this radical new mindset, anything can be your product if it's your mechanism to create change. Whether you're working on research, a freelance project, a government policy, or a nonprofit, you have a product. This is the essence of radical product thinking. Having lived in Singapore for 2.5 years, I found that the country is an incredible example of why this is a powerful way of thinking about product. In the 1950s, most households in Singapore didn't have running water or sanitation. The secret to Singapore's transformation into an economic powerhouse by the 2000s lies in Singapore being built as a radical product, meaning Singapore was driven by a clear vision. In 1965, Singapore reluctantly became an independent country after a failed merger with Malaysia. It wasn't clear that Singapore would survive as a country. It was a small, poor island that didn't have natural resources such as oil. It was even dependent on Malaysia for 70% of its drinking water at the time. But the first Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, had a vision for Singapore. In a press conference, he talked about the change he wanted to create, a better life for Singaporeans. Singapore was his product or mechanism to bring about that change. He wanted to build Singapore as a platform for businesses to explore the region. A vision is a good start, but a strategy is what makes it actionable. Strategy meant asking, what do businesses need in such a platform? For Western businesses to make this a platform, Singapore needed to be clean and green. Very often in the West, we think that Singapore is clean just because of the fines that are imposed on littering. In reality, if everyone is littering, enforcing fines is impossible. To achieve Singapore's strategy, there were a clear set of priorities. First, there were education campaigns to explain to the population why Singapore needed to be clean and green. It was only when the majority were bought into the vision that the rules around littering could be enforced. Compare this to the approach we often take in business, where we become iteration-led and over-rely on iteration. Can you imagine if Singapore had said, let's move fast and break things? If you're building something important, you don't get many chances to get it right. The example of Singapore shows that your product can be world-changing when you take a systematic approach to translate your vision for change into action. This is the essence of radical product thinking. It's a methodology for building world-changing products. Visionaries like Mr. Lee Kuan Yew just knew intuitively how to translate vision into action. The rest of us could use a guide. Radical Product Thinking, the new mindset for innovating smarter, will be on bookshelves on September 28, 2021. You can also get the free toolkit from radicalproductthinking.com.